Hi there, and welcome to Unit 3 here in Intermediate Accounting 1. Hope the course has been going well for you as we continue on with Chapters 5 and 6. In this week's learning units, Chapter 5 is talking about revenue recognition. And as we continue on through intermediate accounting, what you really start to find out is that simple transactions, they might be common, but more dynamic transactions do also exist. So here in Chapter 5, we take a little bit harder look at some special revenue recognition rules in different factors that relate to contracts and recognizing revenue. Everything's not cookie cutter, boilerplate transactions out there. There's a lot of unique circumstances that come up and force us as accountants to interpret that information and accurately record that transaction, disclose that transaction, and make sure that all the accounting rules are being held true to. So again, as we talk about earning revenue, here we're really talking about, the recognition of that revenue. When did we earn it? When have we done the work that we're required to? And when do we have a legal right to collect or to receive payment? And so here again, we talk a little bit about rights and obligations. When do we have a right to collect that receivable or demand a payment from a customer? When do we have an obligation to perform a task? When is that obligation fulfilled? How is that obligation fulfilled? So all these facts and circumstances related to some of these transactions really starts to give us as an accountants a way in measuring those things and going through our decision tree in order to figure out how much revenue should be recorded and how it should be recorded, and that sort of thing. So there's some good examples in the slides in the chapter as well through the homework that'll hopefully help you decipher those things, those bright lines that help us distinguish revenue from maybe a deposit, maybe unearned revenue, those sorts of things. We'll talk a lot about subscriptions, contracts, construction projects, percentage completion, all these different ideas that hopefully, again, rooted in that accounting concept of earning the revenue and really tracing back through those facts and circumstances. Have they earned it? Do they have a right to collect? Where do those chips fall? Also in Chapter 5, there's a little bit of discussion about principals and agents towards the end of the chapter, and some unique things that relate back to those. Back into the revenue conversation briefly, there's some other situations that can arise, such as consignment sales, long-term contracts. Again, what we're really concerned about is title, rights to assets, and ownership. And when does that title pass? When is the car mine? When is the home mine? When have you done what you need to? When am I now obligated to pay? What are those facts and circumstances? What's the contract? What's happening behind the scenes there? As we get into Chapter 6, we're getting back into the time value of money, which hopefully, again, is kind of not a foreign topic anymore. Hopefully through your economics classes, maybe some finance classes, maybe survey of accounting, you've been through the time value of money enough that it's kind of dusting it back off and kind of picking up where you left off. We're going to talk about simple interest, compounding simple interest, and then the opposite of that, discounting those cash flows. We're going to talk about annuities, which again are just regular, recurring, same amount for a certain time interval, and how the compounding of interest and the discounting of those cash flows works. What we'll start to see is some more exposure to how these things relate to real business or real situations that we'll run into as accountants. So things like lease obligations and pensions and those sort of things that are really cash flow driven. How do we use these time value of money concepts to help us record these transactions as we start to get into other types of transactions in the coming weeks. So just kind of a knock off the dust kind of exercises for that. So again, those 2 chapters coming your way this week. Again, if you have any troubles or problems, feel free to reach out to me, text, email, phone call. I'm here to help, and hope you're having a good term so far as we continue to plow through some of these advanced accounting concepts and ideas. Take care, have a great day, and we'll see you soon in the course room.